welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill, and I'm here with Julie. And this week we're going to talk about books that were made into movies.
This one was a challenging one for me. We are all familiar with wonderful books that have been made into movies. Mario Puzo's The Godfather, about the Corleone crime family. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. L. Frank Baum's The Wizard of Oz. Margaret Mitchell's epic, Gone with the Wind. So this was a challenge for me to pick some books that have been made into movies. So to pick 5 was difficult, but here we go. My first is The Children of Men by P.D. James, published in 1992. Told with the author's trademark suspense, insightful characterization, and riveting storytelling, The Children of Men is a dystopian novel of a world with no children and no future. The year is actually 2021, and since 1995, no babies have been born because in that year, all males unexpectedly became infertile. Great Britain is ruled by a dictator and civilization itself is crumbling. Oxford historian Theodore Farron, apathetic toward a future without a future, spends most of his time reminiscing about what things were like. Then he is approached by Julian, a bright, attractive woman who wants him to help get her an audience with his cousin, the powerful Warden of England. She and her band of unlikely revolutionaries may just awaken his desire to live, and they may also hold the key to survival for the human race. When I looked at reviews for this book, because I have not read it, the Chicago Tribune said, "This is a book of such accelerating tension that the pages seem to turn faster as one moves along." And the New Yorker said, "It's as scary and suspenseful as anything in Hitchcock." Wow. The movie version of this stars Clive Owen, Julianne Moore, and Michael Caine. It was released in 2006. It's rated R. So my first pick, The Children of Men.
So I found this one really easy.
I found this one challenging to narrow it down.
I watch way too much movies, I guess. Okay, so my first choice is a movie that I just saw a couple weeks ago called Nomad Land. I saw the movie on Valentine's Day. It's really, really good, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if it's on the Oscar lists. It's not on DVD yet, but you can watch it on Hulu if you stream that service. And that movie stars Frances McDormand, who was also in The Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. So the book is based on this book, Nomadland, or the movie is based on this book, Nomadland, Surviving America in the 21st Century. It's nonfiction. The book's description is, Nomadland is a revelatory work of in-depth narrative journalism about the new American workforce and a shift away from retirement as we know it, which sounds kind of dry and boring, but the movie is much, much better. The movie adaptation has a different description. It says, takes a more human angle. It's about a woman, Frances McDormand, who has lost everything during the Great Recession. She embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van-dwelling modern-day nomad. So, yeah, so it's actually kind of cool. She lives in her van. She doesn't have any money, and she meets other people who live in vans, and like it's a whole society.
I like her as an actress, so she's really good.
It's really good. So that's my first choice.
And mine is one, my second pick is one you'll all be familiar with. It's Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, which was published in 1868. We have the 150th anniversary edition in our classics collection at the Kimberly Library. Generations of readers, young and old, male and female, have fallen in love with the March Sisters of Louisa May Alcott's most popular and enduring novel. We have the talented tomboy and author-to-be Jo, tragically frail Beth, the beautiful Meg, and romantic spoiled Amy, united in their devotion to each other and their struggles to survive in New England during the Civil War. It's no secret that Louisa May Alcott based Little Women on her own early life, while her father, the free-thinking reformer and abolitionist, Bronson Alcott, hobnobbed with such eminent male authors as Emerson, Thoreau, and Hawthorne. Louisa supported herself and her sisters with what they called back then women's work, including sewing, doing laundry, and acting as a domestic servant. But she soon discovered she could make more money writing. Little Women brought her lasting fame and fortune, and far from being the girls' book her publisher requested it be, it explores such timeless themes as love and death, war and peace, and conflict between personal ambition and family responsibilities. This book has been made into a movie many times. I think there was at least a dozen of them out there. It started out as a silent film in 1918, and then in 1933 there was a version with Katharine Hepburn playing Jo. I'm holding the 1949 version. I watched this recently. This had June Allison playing Jo, and it also starred Margaret O'Brien as Beth, Elizabeth Taylor as Amy and Janet Leigh as Meg. And recently, 2019 had a version of Little Women with Saoirse Ronan playing Jo. So it's been made into a movie many, many times. Little Women.
Saoirse, is that how you say that?
I think so.
My next pick is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. This book was published in 2013 by Kevin Kwan, and there are 2 follow-up novels called China Rich Girlfriend and Rich People Problems, which also have movies in development. This is the movie, Crazy Rich Asians. I'm sure you've heard of it. It was released in 2018 by director John Chu. It's a romantic comedy about an Asian American woman who travels to Singapore to meet her boyfriend's parents, only to discover that they are crazy rich. So I would recommend you read this one and then read the follow-up ones, and then you'll be ready for those movies.
We all set for all the sequels. My next pick is a nonfiction or a biography, depending on which library you get it from. It's 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup, which was published in 1853. It's subtitled A Narrative of Solomon Northup, citizen in New York, kidnapped in Washington City in 1841 and rescued in 1853 from a cotton plantation near the Red River in Louisiana. It's a slave narrative of a black man who was born free in New York State but was kidnapped in Washington, D.C., sold into slavery, and kept in bondage for 12 years in Louisiana. It's a harrowing memoir about one of the darkest periods in America's history. Solomon Northup provides details of slave markets in Washington, D.C. and New Orleans, as well as describing at length cotton and sugar cultivation on major plantations in the South. He was able to write to friends and family in New York, who were in turn able to secure his release. This was also made into an Oscar-winning film. This was 2013. It won the Oscar for Best Picture in 2014. It stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, Michael Fassbender, Brad Pitt's even in this one. I thought it was a very good movie. I thought it was very difficult to watch, but it was one that was very, very important to watch. So 12 Years a Slave.
Very eye-opening. So my next one is Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. This is the movie. The movie is a 2019 American comedy drama film directed by Richard Linklater. It stars Kate Blanchett and Kristen Wiig is in here. The movie description is former architect Bernadette Fox seems to have it all. A beautiful home in Seattle, a successful and loving husband, and a brilliant teenage daughter who's about to attend boarding school. When Bernadette suddenly disappears without a trace, her concerned family sets off an exciting adventure to solve the mystery of where she has gone. So, but the book, it has more detailed, is more detailed in its description. And I think books tend to go deeper anyways than movies, because you only have 2 hours in a movie. But when her daughter Bee claims a family trip to Antarctica as a reward for perfect grades, Bernadette, a fiercely intelligent shut-in, throws herself into preparations for the trip. But worn down by years of trying to live the Seattle life she never wanted, Ms. Fox is on the brink of a meltdown. And after a school fundraiser goes disastrously awry at her hands, she disappears, leaving her family to pick up the pieces, which is exactly what Bee does, weaving together an elaborate web of emails, invoices, school memos that reveal a secret past Bernadette has been hiding for decades. Where'd You Go, Bernadette is an ingenious and unabashedly entertaining novel about a family coming to terms with who they are and the power of a daughter's love for her mother. So I would recommend, the movie's good, but the book sounds a lot better as usual.
I saw the movie, but I hadn't read their book. And I did like the movie.
The movie's fun. It's a bit more simple.
My fourth pick is The Princess Bride, S. Morgenstern's classic tale of true love and high adventure by William Goldman, published back in 1973. This is a timeless tale of adventure and true love. From the cliffs of insanity to the zoo of death, this incredible journey is filled with strange beasts, memorable surprises, and such unforgettable characters as Wesley, the handsome farm boy who risks death for the woman he loves, Buttercup, the Princess Bride, who is the most beautiful, perfect woman in the history of the world, the Spanish swordsman who lives only to avenge his father's death, the gentle giant who can uproot a tree with his bare hands, and the evil Sicilian with a mind so keen he is foiled by his own logic. It also contains characters like Miracle Max, who can raise the dead, sort of, Count Rugen, the evilest man of all, and Prince Humperdinck, the evil ruler of Florin, who has an insatiable thirst for war, and the beautiful Buttercup. As a boy, William Goldman claims he loved to hear his father read the S. Morgenstern classic, but as a grown-up, he discovered that the boring parts were left out of good old Dad's recitation, and only the good parts reached his ears. The movie is kind of a cult classic, starring Robin Wright as Buttercup and Carrie Elwes as Wesley. It's got a fun cast of characters, Mandy Patinkin, Billy Crystal. It has a wonderful cast. It was released in 1987, and it's rated PG. We just saw this a week or two ago, and it's a good one.
It's one you can watch
We still like
times.
watching this movie.
You can watch that one again and again. So now my next one, I have one of John Green's lesser-known novels, Paper Towns. You're probably really familiar with Fault in Your Stars, but I thought I'd challenge you with something a little different. This book was published in 2008, 4 years before The Fault in Our Stars, and it's John Green's third book. The book description is, who is the real Margot? Quentin Jacobson has spent a lifetime loving the magnificently adventurous Margot Ross Spiegelman from afar. So when she cracks open a window and climbs into his life, dressed like a ninja and summoning him for an ingenious campaign of revenge, he follows. After their all-nighter ends and a new day breaks, Q arrives at school to discover that Margot, always an enigma, has now become a mystery, but Q soon learns that there are clues, and they're for him. Urged down a disconnected path, the closer he gets, the less Q sees the girl he thought he knew. The movie is much the same. This came out in 2015 and is classified as a romance mystery. And this description is, the young and shy Quentin is in for the night of his life when Margot, the most popular student in high school, recruits him to help her play mischievous pranks on friends who betrayed her. The next day, however, the mysterious Margot is nowhere to be found. With the help of a few buddies and some cryptic clues she left behind, Quentin embarks on an obsessive mission to find the girl who stole his heart. So, yeah, that's my next choice.
Read the book, haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, John Green's always fun.
I read most of his books, I think, yeah.
Sure.
My last pick is a nonfiction pick. It's called Queen Bees and Wannabes, Helping Your Daughter Survive Cliques, Gossip, Boyfriends, and the New Realities of Girl World by Rosalind Wiseman, which was published in 2009. When she first published this, she fundamentally changed the way adults look at girls' friendships and conflicts, how girls choose their best friends, how they express their anger, their boundaries with boys, relationships with their parents. She showed how girls of every background are profoundly influenced by their interactions with one another. Now she has revised and updated her groundbreaking book for a new generation of girls, and she explores how girls' experiences before adolescence impact their teen years, future relationships, and overall success. Girls' power plays, from fake apologies to fights over instant messaging and text messages, which you got to stay current with all the ways to communicate, where boys fit into the equation of girl conflicts, and how you can help your daughter better hold her own with the opposite sex. Packed with insights about technology's impact on girl world and enlivened with the experiences of girls, boys, and parents, this book offers concrete strategies to help you empower your daughter to be socially competent and treat herself with dignity. The book inspired the movie Mean Girls, starring Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams. This was released in 2004. It's rated PG-13. Mean Girls has also been turned into a Broadway musical, which will be coming to the Fox Valley in January of 2022. So, Queen Bees and Wannabes, the inspiration for Mean Girls.
I want to see that at the back, the play. So my next one is Room by Emma Donoghue. This movie was released in 2015, and it is available on Hulu if you have a Hulu. It's classified as a drama, and it's really, really good. I think this had a few Oscar nominations, including maybe Best Actress for the...
I think she might have won.
She might have won. Brie Larson. It was very good. So the story is about Brie Larson. She's held captive for years in an enclosed space, and she and her young son finally gain their freedom and allow the boy to experience the world outside for the first time, which is good. The movie kind of centers on the escape, but the book, which was published in 2010, this is a lot more stirring, I think, because it's a lot more detail about her situation, because she's actually like being held captive in some guy's shed in his backyard, and she has this child, and she kind of like tries to make it more palatable for the kid. I believe it's told from the kid's point of view. It's been a while since I read this one. And it really dives deep into this, like, what life is like in this 10 by 10 room, and, you know, how she makes it better for the kid. Like, she turns things into games, like there's a scene where the boy is describing them playing a game by standing on the table and screaming into this hole in the ceiling. And that's clearly the mom screaming for help to see if somebody can help them, but he thinks it's a game and it's part of his life. And then, so yes, great book. I would recommend the book before the movie, but the movie's not bad.
Yep, I've read that and watched, and I would give them both a thumbs up.
That was really good.
Thank you all for watching us. We hope this gave you some ideas on what to read or what to watch between books and movies this week.
And don't forget to like or share this video and comment below on some of your favorite book movie adaptations, because we'd like to hear what you are reading too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.